Well, hello again. This is Unit 2, Lesson 1 for Geometry at Kennedale High School. So here's what we have. This is getting into the basics of geometry now. Basic definitions, talking about points, lines, and planes. Alright, let's take a look and see what we got here. One of the things you need to know is simply this. For the study of geometry, we've got to first have a vocabulary, which means that you have word definitions along with corresponding symbols. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Term and symbol are in this side, definition is over here. Okay, a point is represented by just a dot and a capital letter, okay, telling you what the name of the point is. An exact location in space is what a point is. It has absolutely no size and is infinitely small. You can denote points with a capital letter. In this case, some examples are A, B, X, and Y. Multiple points can be classified as collinear or coplanar, and we'll see those definitions below. A line, okay. A line has absolutely no thickness and extends to infinity in two opposite directions. There's as many points on that line as what you want. You always denote lines with a bar that has arrows on both ends, like this right here. It should show you this. The arrows are very small, but there is an arrow pointing in both directions. So you have AB and AC. Lines have only one dimension, and that is length. The problem is you cannot measure the length of a line because the line length is infinite. So it doesn't matter what a line looks like in a diagram, every line is considered to be absolutely congruent in far as its length goes. Okay, so this is what it would look like. Notice the arrow on both sides means that you're talking about a line AB and a line AC. This diagram right here can be named either line AB or line AC. Or it could also be named line BC. Okay. All right, let's take a look at a couple of more. A line segment. This is what most of you are typically used to working with. A line segment is something that you can measure using a ruler. Okay? But notice this time that when we have it, that it has simply a line with no arrows over it. Okay? So this is an example of what a line segment PQ would look like. It could also be called line segment QP. The line segment always has two endpoints, so it only extends from this endpoint to this endpoint. And it does include all the points between. Once again, you can have an infinite number of points on a line segment for a simple reason that points have no dimension. So you can make them as small or as large as you need. Okay, array is another thing that happens here. Notice that array has a starting point or an end point, and it goes to infinity in the other direction. Okay, so it's simply a piece of a line having only one end point, and it extends infinitely far in one direction. Notice that it only has a single arrowhead, and they will always be pointing to the right. Okay, the arrow indicates the direction in which the ray extends. Okay, and they're talking about where does it start and which direction does it go. In other words, ray AB and ray AC are interchangeable is the name of this. Okay, but ray BC is not the same as ray AB or ray AC. And you cannot turn them around backwards because that would mean the ray would be going this way. The first letter is always the end point of the ray. The second letter is a letter that's on the ray as it's going away from the end point. Okay, opposite rays. This is another way that you can say the name of a line. Okay, remember a line goes infinitely long in both directions. If you have opposite rays, they both start at the same end point like this. Both of these start at point X. But one goes through Y going this way, the other one goes the opposite direction through Z this way. Okay, so this would be ray XY and ray XZ, and they are opposite rays because they do not overlap except at the end point. Okay, a plane is simply a flat surface that extends infinitely far in all directions within that flat surface. A plane contains an infinite number of points. The plane shown here is denoted with a capital letter X. So what he's saying here is this: if you have a plane, usually represented by a four-sided figure, what they're showing you with these arrows is that it goes an infinite distance in all these directions. Okay, this X does not have a point associated with it, so that is the name of the plane. Another way to name the plane is by using 3 points that are not in a straight line. So plane ABC would be another name for plane X. Okay, collinear points. This was something they referred to earlier. This simply means that all of these points are on the same line. Any 2 points are always collinear because anytime you have 2 points, you can always draw a line between them. Okay? But 3 can only be collinear if they're on the same line together. Okay, so if I picked another point W over here, it would not be collinear with all 3. Okay, coplanar points simply means that the points are all on the same plane. Okay, anytime you have 3 points that are not in a straight line, they will always be coplanar. Okay, this concludes Unit 2, Lesson 1. Thank you very much. Be sure you keep straight what these definitions are, and be ready for your WSQ tomorrow. Thank you.